Hoping it's working. Good morning. Hello. Hello, everybody. I've got some new tech today. So I'm really excited. I've got StreamYard. So I'm now dual streaming to YouTube and my Facebook group at the same time. So I'm quite excited because normally I have two cameras and I have to look at two cameras because I'm normally on my phone, as you all know. Whereas today I have got one camera. But not only have I got one camera, I've also got some guests. Because my new technology lets me invite guests through. So
they are first.
So I'd just like to say a huge welcome to Michelle and Christine Ewan. They're going to give you some fantastic PR tips today. But before we jump into that, I would like to say, please do join the chat. If you're watching on YouTube, please do give us a like, ask any questions in the chat, and we will answer them as we can, because Michelle and Christine have got some fantastic tips. And, if you really want help with PR, do ask some questions in the chat while you've got this great opportunity. If you are watching in my Facebook group, please do. I'm just going to write this little message. You will have to leave your name because I've got this new technology. You will have to leave your name if you've not been on StreamYard before, so I know who's commented. So please do say hello and we'll give you a shout out. And if you're saying hello, leave your name, or else you can visit StreamYard.com and you'll get, and it'll automatically leave your name. Oh, and Amanda's joined us. Amanda Bate.
Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
Hello, Amanda.
Hope you're well. Good afternoon.
You've obviously used StreamYard before, Amanda, because your name is coming up. So thanks for that. So I've got a little rest today. So I'd just like to sort of hand you over to. Hi, Andrew. Andrew Collier's watching.
Hi, Andrew.
I'll just hand you over then to Michelle and Christian, and they can give you a little introduction and share their top tips for today.
Thank you for the lovely introduction, Bex. Really appreciate that. It was lovely.
We're really delighted to be here today and really appreciative of the opportunity to have a chat to you about all things PR related. And myself and Christian, we started out in journalism when I was I think I was 20 when I got my first journalism job. And we actually met each other at our local newspaper, which is the Warrington Guardian, which some of you will be very familiar with. Yeah. And we worked as working journalists for a good few years before we made the leap into PR, both in the private and the public sector. So we kind of have a bit of a unique view in that we have worked as journalists and we know how journalists think, the kind of stories that they're looking for, but we've also worked with businesses to help them position their key messages. So kind of got both sides of the coin really, which is why we're able to share some really cool insights that hopefully you will find useful.
I think that's really good as well, isn't it? Because you've actually worked in journalism. Now you've got your own business and you're helping companies as well. And it's a bit like me, really. I've worked in businesses managing social media and now we're training. And I think it's just really valuable, isn't it?
Absolutely invaluable, really, to have that balance of both areas and both disciplines. Absolutely.
You can see it from both perspectives. You can see what the journalists want because we've had that thought process ourselves. We've kind of had press releases coming into us and had to make decisions about which one we will choose to publish and which ones don't fit the bill. But then we've also come at it from the PR perspective as wanting to help our customers get their key messages across. So
positioning them in the most effective way.
We've kind of seen both sides of the coin. So we've come full circle now and we want to kind of help people to learn some of the skills that we've perfected over the past combined 30 years.
30 years, combined.
I have to say combined. It's not 30 years each.
No. We're not that old. We're not that old. No.
And really help people to be their own PR person. And I think now is an amazing time to start doing that if you've not done so already. So obviously we're in pandemic times, we're on lockdown times, and every penny counts. And if perhaps you're traditionally you would pay for advertising to get the word out for your business, and that money just isn't there at the moment, and you're looking at how can I do some low cost marketing and really get great results and reach thousands of people all at the same time, then the press is a great opportunity to do that. And we also know anecdotally that a lot of newsrooms are operating on strict workforces, and people have been furloughed. So really,
might be people self-isolating or maybe just unable to work for whatever reason at the moment.
Absolutely. So a lot of newsrooms are under pressure at the moment. They need to put out their usual publications, but they've not got as many reporters as they usually would have. So stories that come across the table that are well conceived, well thought out, presented well to the journalists have got an even higher chance of being published. Now,
and would you say good news stories particularly, because I know there's so much bad news at the moment.
Really glad you've mentioned that, Bex. I mean, absolutely. With there is a lot of negative, adverse news at the moment. So I mean, good news stories, all year round, but especially I think now during more difficult times, you've got reporters crying out for that, haven't you, Michelle? Positive stories.
Absolutely, because obviously we're all tuning in at 5 o'clock to get our daily briefing, to hear the national headlines, and to be honest, it's not great news each day. There's more and more deaths to report. There's continuing issues over PPE. It's difficult and dark times, and people need some relief from that. And especially in the business community, people need to feel inspired, hopeful that their businesses can endure throughout this lockdown. They can come through the other side of this. People are pivoting, changing direction, finding new ways to deliver their products and services. And hearing how other businesses are weathering this period is really, really empowering for other business owners. But equally, it's about letting customers know you're still there, you're still operating, there are still ways to buy from you. So it's kind of a win-win situation. And we can see not just the local press, but regional and national, some of the hashtags on Twitter that journalists use to search for case studies, they are crying out for good news stories at the moment. So you've got a perfect scenario where you want to tell your story in the lowest cost possible way, and journalists have got the platform to do that for you. So it's a case of bringing those two opportunities together.
That's it.
So
perfect.
What we would say is, in terms of speaking to journalists, the most important thing is to have an actual story. If you go to them and you're trying to blatantly just sell a product or a service, and really what you're saying is just an advertisement, they are going to pass you over to the advertising department, because fundamentally they have a duty of care to their readers to serve them genuinely interesting content.
And it won't be great for the initial forging of the relationship either, to be fair. A journalist just won't respect that, in terms of if they know quite clearly you're approaching them, as Michelle said, with an advert, it just doesn't get things off on the right footing.
And they probably won't even bother opening your email or responding to it at all, will they?
Correct. No.
They'll just see that as really it's a wasted opportunity, to be honest. So what we really, really believe in fundamentally is that people buy from people. Human interest is always the number one way to get your story in print. So what we try to start from a basis of is looking at the human interest stories that already exist in your business right now. So obviously we're all going through the pandemic, we're all going through the lockdown, and there's a huge emotional journey going on for most of us in terms of how are we getting through this period. So for some of us, that might look like doing different products and services. We might be taking them online for the first time, we might be doing home delivery for the first time, and talking about how you are rising to this challenge from a very human angle is going to be a story that will be of interest to a reporter. So that does involve giving something of yourself.
It does, you have to be prepared to lift the veil a little bit.
You do. You have to be able to talk about the person behind the business. And we understand for a lot of people there can be kind of confidence issues around that, or it might be something that you have to really wrestle with and think, is this the right thing for me to do right now? And we absolutely
totally get that.
We absolutely do. But if you can kind of organize your thoughts and realize that this is a great way of talking about your business that's not going to cost you any money, then it really is a powerful way to take your marketing strategy forward and actually forming long-lasting relationships with reporters. So you can go back to them many times over the course of your business journey and get more and more coverage. Then you're just going to connect with so many potential customers who are reading those publications. So it really is a journey worth going on.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. Because once you've got the know-how, once you know how to approach your, as Michelle mentioned, your own thought process and learning to identify a story that is clearly there, but it's sometimes people don't always see the wood for the trees and that they've got something staring at them. But sometimes you can think, oh, well, that's just something I do or something that I've done. There might be a really interesting story behind why you do what you do. Now, we always talk about our why, why do we do what we do? Why do we choose to pursue a particular path? So I think once you've got all of that clear, and then you actually have like a process and a technique behind it to begin to get the word out, that becomes a very potent formula. And you can go back to it time and time again. And then you're able then to get into a rhythm with it. You find a groove. And then if you are able to build up a relationship with a reporter or reporters, whereby they know that you're going to send them things through which are newsworthy, which are of interest to the public, to their readership, you're going to become a trusted source for them to be able to keep referring back to. And that's really the thinking behind our concept with what we do and how we try to help people.
It is. And what we've done, we've put together a free download called 20 Ways to Get Your Business in Your Local Newspaper.
Yep.
And that includes 20 story prompts, 20 story ideas, tried and tested, narratives that reporters are very familiar with. They like them. They're easy to use in their publication. And it's really...
they cross all sectors as well.
They do. Whatever industry in, however long you've been in business, these are story ideas that can work for you. So just to give you a couple of examples of them. So one of those would be, have you formed a partnership with another business, or have you linked up with another business in some way? Have you helped each other either through networking or part of a recruitment drive? So if you have partnered with another organisation, it can be a bonus for both of you. So you will both get publicity out of telling the story. So that's one way that works really, really well of getting coverage. Another thing is, have you chosen a charity of the year? Are you taking on any charitable endeavours? Perhaps you're taking part in a 10k run or a mountain climb, or doing something to raise money for a cause that you really believe in, affiliated with your business. Telling that story can be a really powerful way of communicating to your customer base that you take corporate social responsibility very seriously. And it's just a real feel-good factor to tell that story to the press. And especially if you've got team members who've also been involved, it can be some valuable recognition for them as well.
Yeah, that's just a couple of ideas. So they are tried and tested. We call them tropes, basically, of our industry, because they work. They are of interest to readerships of varying descriptions, demographics, different industries, different publications. So that's a free download that we've created just to get the ball rolling for people to really start thinking about what they've got to offer and how they can begin telling their story.
Yeah.
And also, but with these stories, if you get into the press, it's about linking in with your social media then, isn't it?
It is
about getting in your press, is it?
It is indeed. Yeah, that's like the next step, isn't it? Yeah.
Once you've got that piece of coverage, it's kind of on you to maximize the value that you get out of it. So most publications these days, when they publish a story, not only will it appear in print, it will go online. They'll share it on their Facebook account, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. And these are links that you can share as part of your social media strategy from trusted, credible news outlets that are really going to enhance your reputation. So this isn't just you talking about your business in glowing positive terms. This is a third-party endorsement for who you are and what you do. So once you get that coverage, making sure that you share those links, comment on them, thank the journalists, thank the publication for featuring you. These are all amazing pieces of social proof that you can integrate into your social media strategy. So as you would with lots of other forms of marketing, it's really important not to consider this as a separate press strategy.
Very, very good point. Yeah.
How that you bring it all together to make it work for your business as a whole. So as much as you're doing this to get print coverage, it's also going to have massive online benefits for you as well. With newspaper groups, they can typically have double the figure thousands of followers on Facebook, so it's more and more audiences that you can get your business in front of absolutely free of charge.
And it's just such a powerful result, you know, to get into the press, whether you're published online or in the newspaper, because once it happens, it can never be taken away from you. You know, you've earned that right, you've earned the recognition, because the reporter doesn't actually owe you anything in terms of, you know, they're choosing to feature you because, as Michelle mentioned before, when your story hits the newsroom, you've made the grade, you've made the cut, because what you've presented to them ticks all the requisite boxes for them to go ahead and use it. So to have that feeling of being printed is an amazing feeling anyway, but then to implement it as part of your social media strategy, it's something that you can refer to time and time again as and when it's relevant. So it's really important that when you get that momentum going, when you do get some publicity, make sure that you don't let the social media aspect of it fall by the wayside. It's important to have the two of them working in alignment, really, in tandem. Yeah. Absolutely.
And you can sort of double it. I know when I was working at No My Games, we got a big press coverage by the Warrington Guardian, because we created a character in the game called the Shaman, and all the proceeds were going to charity, special effects.
What a brilliant story. Yeah.
And the beauty about that was, by getting it in the paper, I created loads of content for No My Games. I literally took photos of the articles. It was on a few pages, photos of the articles. We actually had someone in cosplay coming out, and it doesn't need to be this elaborate. It was quite elaborate, this, but we had someone in cosplay. As the character. But the most important thing, I think, from my part as well, was by using that social media, tagging in the Guardian, tagging in the journalist. That actually gave us a lot of brownie points. So now even now I'm working for managing my own company, social media executive, I still have a great relationship with the guy in the Guardian, and I know if I need to talk to him at all about something, he gets straight back to me.
That's fantastic.
Building those relationships, isn't it? And really, although we're getting coverage, fantastic, but also think about helping to increase the profile of that publication, of that journalist, to help them get more visibility for their articles, because they want to get good views on their articles as well, don't they?
100%. And I'm delighted you've mentioned that, because I mean, you know, we would always strongly, you know, advocate for that it is a two-way relationship. You know, whilst you want to get your result with the newspaper, as you've demonstrated there with your story, to keep that relationship positive and two-way, whereby, you know, you acknowledge them, you thank them for taking the time to feature you, and that you don't just take it as almost like a given that, you know, they've done that for you. That there opens up a really, really strong positive relationship, whereby they feel appreciated for doing their work to put you in the publication to begin with, but also then you're knowing and you're expressing to them gratitude, and knowing that you can then continue to keep giving them information and stories which work, you know, whether it be great photographs as in your case, or, you know, the press release ticks all the boxes as well. I'm just really glad that you've mentioned that, because it's definitely a two-way thing, isn't it?
It is. You're just cheerleading that journalist. So even if they're publishing stories that don't relate to your business, as part of your social media strategy, you can still share their posts. If it's linked with your values and your purpose and your community, share their posts, build a relationship up with them that way, comment on things for them. We're seeing an increasing trend that a lot of journalists now are using LinkedIn, and they're posting out shout outs on there for relevant case studies, for investigative reports. I'll say it, investigative.
No, reports. You're doing good. It's all the pressure of being live, eh? Yeah.
Around that word.
Yeah. Oh, you did well there with that one.
If they're looking for case studies, and you think, do you know what? That's me. That's my business.
I can talk about that.
Contact them. So connecting with the reporters on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Facebook, it's all really, really important part of your overall social media strategy.
It is, and it's like you said at the start, isn't it? People buy from people. you know, and as I always say on social media, it's about showing your personal side. No one wants to see a sales post. No one wants an article in a newspaper that's just selling. It really is about adding value, and really, you know, building up that relationship. And it does take time, doesn't it? You might not get through the first time, but you know, if you build that relationship on social media, they get to know a little bit about who you are and what your values are as a company.
Yeah.
And when they do hear from you, when you have got something to say, they're then more likely to listen, aren't they?
They are, and I think another thing to make a point of as well is that we need to remember that reporters are human beings as well, in terms of that they share all the same concerns, you know, and things going on, you know, in day-to-day life, as work pressures, everything that we all have in common, regardless of what we do. And I think sometimes when it comes to the media, and people have like a perception of reporters as being, you know, almost a bit unapproachable, and that, you know, they're in some kind of like void or some kind of bubble of their own, whereby, you know, like getting through to them is some kind of miracle or whatever. And I think what's important, and obviously because again we're speaking from first-hand experience of having worked in a newsroom, yes, they are people who are working extremely hard and deadlines, etc., and that type of thing, but they do want to find out about people. You know, they want to learn about, well, why is that person, as I mentioned before, doing what they do? And if they've had some kind of a connection to that story, if maybe it raises some kind of narrative within them, or it gets them thinking about something, because you've chosen to present yourself in a human way, as you mentioned there, Bex, not doing it in a very sales-driven way or a corporate way, or a way that looks like it's basically just some kind of a glorified advert or some pitch, you have definitely got more chance of not only making the grade with your story, but as you mentioned, creating a really strong ongoing relationship, because, you know, we're all human beings. We've all got the same concerns, you know.
And I've got a really good practical example of how social media could benefit your business, in the sense that myself and Christian spent a lot of time working on a magazine called Cheshire Living.
Cheshire Living, yeah.
And the very first thing we did when we were planning story ideas for each edition was to go to Instagram and look on the hashtag Cheshire. So we would use this hashtag as something of a hunting ground for potential story ideas for the magazine. And I came across a company called Valente, who make organic candles, just purely because they had posted some pictures of the candles and they were based in Cheshire. I reached out to them and said basically I was a journalist, so I was looking to feature them in the magazine free of charge. As a result of that contact, they got a 4-page spread in Cheshire Living, which goes out across the whole region. And because they told me their story, and I really emotionally invested on the journey they've been on, to this day, whenever I buy candles, I still personally buy them from the
True story.
And that's literally because they posted on Instagram and used their hashtag Cheshire, and that's how, as a journalist, I was able to find them. So it's just really, really important to really optimize your social media platforms, because you never know who is looking and what opportunities it could bring, just because you're visible and because you're active across these networks.
Yeah, being current and relevant and visible are so important, and it's something as well that you know, do it day in, day out, you know, rather than in consistency, rather than sort of little bursts and then quiet for a while. It's all about keeping that momentum, isn't it? Yeah.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, thank you for those tips, Christine and Michelle. So if people want to know a little bit more, do you want to just remind us how they can get in touch?
Yeah, absolutely. So number one, we did a project where we interviewed 365 female entrepreneurs in 365 days and told their story in exactly 365 words. And that was called the She Can 365 project. And we do have a spin-off free Facebook group from that called hashtag She Can 365 Female Entrepreneur Group.
Yep, that's the one.
It's totally free to join. So if you want to come and hang out in that group with us, it's very free to promote your products and services in there and just kind of connect with other business owners and kind of support and help each other, then please do so. There's also the She Can 365 Facebook page, which has got over 1,000 members, and we are very regularly visible on there. We do a lot of lives on there and interviews very similar to this one. So if you want to come and see us on the She Can 365 page, you're very welcome to join in the fun there. And yeah, we mentioned earlier that we've got the free download, 20 ways to get your business in your local newspaper. That's launching on the 8th of May. So if you would like to receive a free copy of that, I will be letting Bex know when that's available, and you can access the link to that to claim your free copy. And then finally, we have created a product called the Press Pack.
The Press Pack, yeah.
Which is a toolkit containing all our very best tips and hints and guidance. There's templates, email covering notes, scripts for speaking to journalists over the phone.
Video tutorial,
information on how to take a great photo for the press, how to follow up with journalists, lots of hints and tips around etiquette. So that's the Press Pack, and that's launching this week, and that's available for £49. So I will just share a link to that in the comments for anyone who'd like to take a look.
Okay, that's brilliant. Well, thank you guys. It's been really useful, some really useful tips. And so thanks everybody today for watching. If you are on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Next week, I am going to be talking about how to craft a great Facebook ad, because I've got a Facebook ads workshop coming up, as well as a Pinterest workshop coming up as well in the near future. If anyone's so, again, check out my Facebook page for those workshops that are coming up in the near future. So thank you everybody. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. A huge thank you to Christine and Michelle for coming on today.
Pleasure. Thank you.
You're welcome. And now I'm on this SteamYard. I can have more guests, and I can. So yes, I'm quite excited. So yes, thank you everybody, and we'll see you all next week, next Monday at 12:30.
Thank you so much, Bex.
Thank you very much. Thank you everyone. Bye.
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 Bye.